మరి డొనేషన్ ఇవ్వాల్సింది.
డబ్బులు ఎక్కడ ఉందండి దగ్గర?
Lots of things. And I found it.
That's the way you learn. It does
Bharat?
good
What?
to wonder. Answer.
And the television, how it is. And
As you might guess, it also has many offspring. See, these are shoots from that plant, and you just stick it in the water, and it develops little roots in the wintertime. And
you can see the photo.
yeah. And I was fortunate enough when I was your age to live next door to the local iceman in a small town. Different dairy products.
Dairy products.
Post office, no, you know, wonderful display. People would go in, as you well know, and then they would, say, there's one that's open, and then they would have their, what, anything today, you know, or whatever. Yeah. Oh, and this, of course, is the old village blacksmith, and every town would have a black and make it out of iron and then shape it in different ways, and then this is the amp. Always important. Look at that door. Isn't that something?
Wow.
Yes. Well, these people would were very good. Life was different. People did things a lot. You know, they did a lot of things themselves instead of going to the grocery store. Here we have horses, and then these fringes would keep the flies from bothering you, see. So when the horse was walking, it did a swing like that. Oh, yeah. And then,
Hatching
carrying eggs.
egg boxes.
This is one area that I enjoyed teaching about, because I enjoyed teaching about the American West. Look at the different types of barbed wire. See all that? Now normally you look at barbed wire and it looks like some buy a pair of shoes. You went to the local shoemaker.
Shoemaker.
And then the local shoemaker would say, well, let's see, what size foot is your foot here? We go, okay, about this. This is called a last. And then they would, you see this?
Yeah.
So they would put this onto a form, and then they would put the leather around it. It was all donated. And it's just wonderful to be able to have this stuff and have people see this is what they used to, do. Look at the umbrellas. Look at the umbrellas and the canes and look at that, guys. And people would
Look at
have
kitchen.
a cooking stove like this and a wood box, and guys, that would be your job, see? You would have to go and get the wood from out on the wood pile and bring it in every day. Go ahead.
And also you need to collect buffalo chips.
Oh, well, you might. Yes, that was, remember when we were talking about the barbed wire? That was what you found out on the prairie. Yes. Pins. Yeah. This is called a pie safe. It was literally to keep little insects out from the food, you see. Now, remember, guys, when we were downstairs and we were talking about getting ice out of the lake?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a part
There
of
is
it.
no refrigerator.
And then, of course, they put food in there, you see, or down here. On the bottom is a tray, and the ice would melt and the water would go down, and then they would take that water out periodically. Often, we would not, my family was not wealthy, quite poor, and so we'd let the fire go out in the evening, go to bed, stay real warm. Next morning, my dad would get up and start the fire in the stove, and we'd grab our clothes and race down and stand next to the stove and try to stay warm. Oh, it was so different in those days. Right there, you have a pump organ. And people used to provide their own entertainment. They would pump and make sounds, you see, or like a piano, and then sing along. And then,
Yeah, this side.
yes, and here we go. This was invented about 125 years ago by a man named Thomas Edison.
Thomas Alva Edison.
Here's what your great-great-great-great-grandmother used to use for cleaning clothes. Or maybe at the riverbank and slapping him against a stone. But eventually this was developed, and then that was developed. This is a rocker and a winding in. And then eventually they put a motor on it. See, look at that. That's an early washing machine. Believe it or not. It's your bathtub.
Bathtub.
But when I was born and I was younger, well, somebody decided they were going to collect old cameras. And this is, of course, one of the old cameras called a box camera. That's over 100 years old, and people literally would buy the camera with the film in it. When they got finished taking about 50 pictures, they would send the whole camera back to the manufacturer, and they would take the film out and develop it, and then send you a new roll of a grocery store down there. But this is the young kids always refer to this as the gun room, because it's quite interesting. But the story on it is the fact that this is a collection by one person whose name was Kip Hale, and he used to own a place across the street called the Buckhorn, a kind of a recreational place. And there is a placemat for the Buckhorn, America's most unique cafe, and they had bowling alleys and eating places and so on. But he had a kind of an idea. You can see the pictures there, 1972 in the Buckhorn, one Saturday morning. The Buckhorn is burning, the Buckhorn is burning, and we all went down and shed a tear, because that was what this town was known for, the Buckhorn. And these, of course, had been in the fire, and you can see a lot of the wood stock was burned off, and etc. And these, fortunately, had been removed. Now, you guys remember something called the Pirates of the Caribbean?
Ooh.
The movie? And then, of course, you go into something more recent, into police, and then World War I and II, the Luger, and then look at these little ones. Look at this, guys.
Oh, is it really a gun?
See, there was Mel Rettinger's pet. Lived in the cave south of the Pioneer Museum, right down here.
Oh, it was a pet?
So, yeah.
I thought, like bears live in north of Minnesota, right?
Yes, different types. There are a lot of different types of bears. You've got different types of bears all over the world, including pandas in China, and you've got koala bear in Australia, and then you've got the white polar bears on the end of arrows, and anvils or like hammers, you know, that type of thing. Yeah. We used to have this display over in another area, and it just was not really seen much. And then we have some people who wanted to put a different display over there. So this is over. Now this boy, old you used to go into a store and you tell the grocer, you know, we
Grocery
need
store.
13 pounds of sugar. That way. Yeah. This is a, whoop, sorry. This is a coffee grinder. Put the coffee in up here and then turn the wheel and then it would come out down there. Careful now.
Long legs.
You could well imagine. Now, you could hear that all over town.
Yeah.
That was the school bell. This room, a lot of lace, quilts. So it's the type of thing that, you know, that probably the mother of the house would be more familiar. And they would open it up like that and throw the shuttle through and catch it over here, and then go the other direction, and then they would throw it back. So just so many things, so many things. People would invent, and then of course they would form the thread on that, yeah.
Cotton.
Now this room is a kind of again a kind of a catch-all. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Toys, children's toys, of course, fascinating. And here you've got dolls, not handmade, more expensive. And then, of course, our school display over here. This is what, you know, earlier schools were like. Desks, yeah, the teacher up there. Turn this on, but
can you change the volume?
the earliest Victrola used a cylinder like this. And here you have a picture of Thomas Alva Edison. And I have another picture of him over there. But these, I can't get that one out. This was called, the earliest development was on a cylinder like this. And again, you see the little lines in there? That's where the sound is.
Oh,
So was he was curious about everything. And he grew up in, I think it was in northern Ohio, but he took a job on a railroad, and he got his ears boxed one time, and it ruined his hearing.
hearing also, yeah.
But it didn't
Because
ruin his
that,
curiosity.
he was doing
He invented the man, and until a few years ago, I had never heard an Edison cylinder phonograph. What did that sound like? See that? It's wound up, incidentally. Okay. And it goes round and round. And then this is got the needle. And I'm going to lower this needle down onto the cylinder. And it's going to touch on those grooves. Now listen. When I first heard this, I was absolutely astounded. The amplifier, I can't control it. Oh, Kentucky home, far away. All right.
Excellent.
Wonderful machine. Glasses, again, somebody's somebody's hobby, and I pointed. Somebody pointed those out. Oh, Harry Potter! Harry Potter! But the ones that I think are fascinating. Look at that. You